I'm Nicole Dames. I'm a head women's basketball recruiting coach here at NCSA Athletic Recruiting, and I'm honored to be here today with Coach Ward McDaniel. He's the head coach at Rend Community College in Illinois. So welcome, Coach McDaniel. I'm happy to be here with you today, sir.
Thank you for having me, Nicole. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. I'm excited. Personally, I started my college career playing at Kishwaukee College, a different junior college, so I'm really excited for you to tell us about your program and help our student athletes better understand the junior college recruiting process. You know, it's a very unknown world out there and a lot of great opportunities. So please, tell us about Rend Lake and what makes it a unique school.
Well, Rend Lake is situated very close to some very big cities such as Memphis, Louisville, Indianapolis, and Chicago, St. Louis. They're all within driving distance, so we get a lot of chances to recruit very good kids from the inner cities that need a chance at a JUCO in order to be able to move on to the next level.
So what does it mean for a student athlete to play at a junior college? I think there's a lot of misunderstanding about what it really is. So what does that mean? Why would I go to a junior college?
There's a couple reasons that I've discovered that kids choose to go play at a JUCO rather than a 4-year. First and foremost is generally they are working on their game and they're not getting the looks from Division I's or Division II's that they should be getting. And they don't want to settle for, say, an NAIA or Division III when if they come to a junior college, there really is no JV. You play and you get better and get used to the speed, and JUCO provides that because the quality competition at our level is somewhere Division I and Division II, so you would be just naturally used to that when you graduate from a JUCO, and you'll hit the ground running when you go to that 4-year.
So how did your season, Coach, go for the 2014-2015 season?
14-15 was a little rough for us. We had 4 injuries, and I actually sent 2 home. They just didn't want to work hard, and they weren't the same kids that, you recruit sometimes, and they act one way, and then you get them on campus away from their mother and father, and then they act totally different. And they didn't want to buy it to the team concept, and after several chances, just had to ask them to leave because they were not good for the program, they were not good for Rend Lake, and so it was a mutual thing. Then the injuries hit, and that kind of left us with 6 or 7 players, to play in our conference, which is just brutal. It was just very difficult. We ran out of gas in a lot of games.
So goals for next season then? What is next season looking like for you guys?
Next season is looking great. Our recruiting is just about completed. We recently had an all-conference, all-region player that played for us last year just decided to take a Division II full-ride offer, and she moved on. And so that left us with 1 more spot to fill. And we have some offers out on the table. We're just waiting. We should know by the end of the week. But I feel fully confident. We've got kids coming back from last year that played a whole lot of minutes for us. We should be better next year than we were this year, and I think that's the mark of this program, if you just keep on improving. And JUCO, if you can get the kids to buy in earlier, you're going to be better. And I am just excited about next season.
Awesome. Okay, and you touched on something. You said you had some offers out. We're sitting here today. It's June 11th. What's your timeline like for recruiting at the junior college level?
Well, we are not allowed to sign anybody until April 8th. So we get kind of, we get kind of put behind the 8 ball because kids, they'll sometimes sign early. They'll go to Division I, and they're already gone, and then you're waiting at Division IIs and low major Division I's. They're trying to fill out their roster. And typically, at this point in the season, the recruiting season that is, we are talking to student athletes who are hoping that the Division II or Division I will call them, but if they haven't done so yet, it's time to pull the trigger for these guys and make a decision. So the offers we have out are on kids who have other offers. I think they're just waiting to take one last visit and then make a decision. And I encourage kids to go to 2, 3, 4 different colleges, and then make your choice based on comparing apples to apples, instead of shooting for pie in the sky. I mean, if they're a JUCO kid, truly, that opens so many doors to them, and they don't have to settle for a level that they should not be playing at if their talent says that they can play at a higher level.
So when do you come on the scene with a high school student athlete that's going through the recruiting process? Do you start communication, their senior year, their junior year, their freshman year? How early or how late will you guys come on board?
Well, unfortunately, if they are good enough for me to talk to them freshman or sophomore year, then they're probably good enough for Division I. I typically try to talk to a kid when they're in their junior year, and I follow them, especially the local kids. I have more access to them because they're right in our backyard. We'll follow them. They know who we are. We know who they are. But typically, in the summer of their junior year, going into their senior year is when we try to contact kids and just put our name on their map, so that when we call or when we show up in their gym, they know, oh, hey, that's the coaches from Rend Lake. So sophomore year, we don't really mess too much with sophomores or freshmen. If your athletes haven't been contacted by freshman or sophomore year, then there's still hope out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And you also touched on something else with talking about location with local student athletes. So when a lot of student athletes and their families think junior college, the community college route, they think, their local school. Are you recruiting, in your direct region, or are you kind of recruiting nationwide? What are you looking for geographically?
Geographically, I start with local kids, and then I circle out to the bigger cities. If they're good enough locally to play in a junior college, sometimes they're good enough to go elsewhere. And I've lost kids that I've talked to here locally, and they'll play at Michigan or Florida Atlantic or Eastern. And so that tells me that I am looking at the right kids, that they're all going Division I and playing. But sometimes those kids like to stay home, too, so they are worth talking to, because junior college is a really high level of basketball. And if a junior college talks to you and you're in their backyard, I would consider it if I was that student athlete, sure. This year we have 2 that are local, and I think they're going to be dynamite for us, really.
Okay, so talk about more specifically, what are you looking for in a recruit, both athletically, academically, skill-wise? What do you look for?
We look for basically 2 types of players, and then we put them in 2 categories. First type is a phenomenal athlete. We look for athletes that can get up and down, that can run, that can jump, that are long. And then I look for basketball players. Can they do the little things that don't always show up on the stat sheet? Do they know the game? Just basketball players. Maybe not be the greatest athlete out there, but is steady and knows the game. And then we look at the 2 categories of those 2 kinds of athletes. We look for their overall game. That includes like footwork, speed, quickness, agility. Big one is, do they play hard? And we realize that sometimes they're going to take a play off, but if that becomes a habit and you take too many plays off, then we usually pass on you. You absolutely have to play hard at this level. Another intangible on their overall game that we really look for is their IQ. And do they have basketball IQ? I mean, do they know where to be? If they're able to get into position, then that's half the battle at our levels. We really look for their demeanor. We were watching this kid. She's probably a Division I kid, but her coach pulled her out, and she didn't shake hands with her team, and she pouted, and we passed on her. We don't have 4 years to deal with the kid. We have a year or 2 at the most to get them up to speed and get them out the door so that they can play at a higher level. And then the second thing is the athlete a leader? Is she a quiet leader or vocal? You can tell who's the leader out there. And then I always confirm all this with the coaches. Call the coach. I'll email the coach. Introduce myself after the game. and I want to know exactly what kind of kid that I'm looking at. Is she really what I think she is? And then we look at position specific. Guards, we break it down into guards, wings, and big. Can the guard handle the ball and shoot it? Can the wings be scorers? Can they rebound? Can they defend? Can they just get after it? And bigs, can they play with their back to the bucket on offense and on defense? Or sometimes, they might be a stretch four. I've had a couple of 6-foot kids who could guard the post but could shoot the three. And so sometimes they'll go out to the perimeter, and we look to see if they're a banger inside or if they're a finesse player. And finally, you tie all that in, their overall game and their specific position skill, and are they coachable? And we usually find that out, Nicole, when they come to visit. If they run with our girls or if we put them through a workout, I always try to suggest, hey, try this, or maybe you should consider this, just to see how well she'll take instruction from the coach. If she balks, if she rolls her eyes, if she looks at her parents, or smacks her lips or something, I generally pass on that kid because she's really, basically she's in a job interview. So if she acts like that and is supposed to be on her best behavior, you can only imagine what's going to occur during the season when you ramp up the intensity. So I have passed on some kids that were probably great players. I just didn't want to deal with the drama.
Absolutely. So with that being said, Coach, can you recommend to our student athletes some do's and don'ts in the recruiting process, what you expect from them and also what you don't want to see?
I think the number one thing they need to do is get a cell phone and answer that thing when a coach calls them. I love kids and I love their parents, but I'm not recruiting their parents. I'm recruiting them, and I really don't want to talk to their dad or their mom until I talk to the kid, because if I don't hear what I want to hear, or if the kid's not, respectful, if the kid's, not appreciative, or whatever bells or whistles go off, I don't want to deal with the whole family if I don't like, the student athlete first. So, I'm trying to save time because time is of the essence when you're recruiting. If the athlete would just be available, I think, and be open to talk to coaches. I've asked kids, hey, what's the best part of your game? And they go, well, I don't know. Well, you have to know what your best part of the game is. You've been playing for 12 years according to your bio, so you have to do something well. Just be honest with the coach. If you shoot well, just say I'm a good shooter. If you handle the ball or handle, the press or your free throws or your rebounding, let me know. I asked one girl that. She told me her best thing was a butt screen. I started laughing, but at least she knew what she was good at. And then you also got to be able to self-evaluate. Speed in high school is not the same as the speed in a college game. So be aware that, hey, when I go try out, I can't just cool breeze it. I got to go fast, and I got to go hard. And for me, that is probably 75% of it. Do you play hard? As they go through this process, they need to be willing to put themselves out there and take a chance and visit at least 3 schools. Official visits, unofficial visits, whatever the case may be. They need to visit the school and then determine if they like the coach, and that is the head coach, because you may like the assistant coach, but the one who's going to call the shots at the end of the day is the head coach. And if you don't like him, then, it's going to be a very long season for you. So I would say you'd have to take in all of that and then look at their academic support. At Rend Lake, we have a fantastic academic support system. It's by design. They do it very well. We actually have an 86% graduation rate for our team, and that's pretty high, especially for JUCO kids that, some of their ACTs are low. And so coming in, just getting them up to speed to college level reading and writing and math that's pretty good. So I would say that as the kid goes through this process, they need to definitely include their parents as part of it, but not the main thing, because ultimately their parents may like this school and this coach, but the kid may like this school and the other coach, and the dad and mom, their day's over. They're not playing, and the kid is. So, you know, the athlete has to make up his or her mind, hey, am I going to play here? Am I going to be comfortable here? And can I get out of this program what I need? Sometimes athletes make a decision based on pure money. Do I get to keep my pal? And so I have that a lot, and they'll call me the next year and go, Coach, I made a mistake. Well, yeah, I know, because I'm recruiting you. I don't recruit kids I don't think can play for me. I pass on kids that are good, but I don't think they can respond to my style of coaching, so I don't pursue them any farther, because it might be me, it might be the team, because we've got to make it gel. And in JUCO, we got to make it gel fast. And so if I don't think that it's a good fit for our program, I leave them alone.
That's some great information, Coach. I can't agree more. You know, it's all about finding that right fit for the coach and for the player. Coach, I appreciate your time today very much, and I hope this is very helpful, and I'm sure it will be to many of our student-athletes and families considering the junior college process, as it is a different world from deciding between a four-year school. So I'm a big fan of your school and your program, and I wish you guys the best the next year, and keep us posted on how things go.
Hey, I appreciate your time, Nicole. Thanks so much for having me. Hopefully we'll see you in Nationals next year.
Sounds good, Coach. Good luck. I'll talk to you.
Okay, see you.
All right, bye, Coach.